1931, an American author by the name of James Truslow Adams. He had written a book titled The Epic of America. Now, within that book, this individual, James Truslow Adams, he provided a definition for the term of the American dream. And in fact, he's one of the individuals that is attributed with actually providing the definition to the term the American dream. And today when we hear the term the American dream, we think of it as it's just a cliche term or a platitude that symbolizes going from rags to riches. In all honesty, I didn't even know the American dream had a definition or somebody described it until I researched it. Now, let me get back to James Truslow Adams and his definition. In the book, The Epic of America, I haven't read it, but I plan on to someday. But I looked at the quote that basically coined the definition, or excuse me, I looked at the quote that is responsible for being the definition for the term the American dream. Now, as he called it, quote, "The dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement," unquote. Okay. Sounds reasonable. Sounds like pretty darn good definition. But he also adds, quote, "It is not a dream of motor cars and high wages merely, but a dream of social order in which each man and each woman shall be able to attain to the fullest stature of which they are innately capable, and be recognized by others for what they are, regardless of the fortuitous circumstances of birth or position," unquote. Now, that second excerpt, depending on who you are, that can be interpreted a little bit differently. Because as I've stated, when I heard the term the American dream, and full disclosure, I recently heard the term, I think maybe in a TV show or a movie, and I got to thinking, what the heck does it actually mean? Like, what is the American dream? How is it defined? And how does society, how do people look at the American dream? And it's quite simple. Everybody looks at the American dream differently, because we come from all different types of backgrounds. We come from different ethnicities, different socio-political environments, socioeconomic environments. So the American dream to some people might be, hey, making a lot of money and just living wealthy. To some other people, it might just be getting married, getting the children, the white picket fence, whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be for you as an individual. But ultimately, it's something good. The byproduct of the American dream is that you're going to be an outstanding law-abiding citizen, and a byproduct or a productive individual. The byproduct is that you're going to be a productive individual in society. I think we can come to that general consensus of what the American dream is. Now, back to James Truslow Adams' definition, or the second part of the definition, the excerpt that I read. He basically was saying regardless of your fortuitous circumstances, and fortuitous meaning fortunate, lucky, and lucky meaning being born into a good circumstance with financial wealth. It's basically what he's alluding to. Then, in that case, the American dream is it's going to be easier. Not impossible, but it's going to be easier for it to be attained for other people than others. Because let's keep it 1,000. Some people have the chips stacked for them as opposed to it being against them. And even if the chips are stacked against you, that still does not provide justification or an excuse for you not to live the American dream as you define it. So, I guess my position is you need to find out what the American dream is, because it sounds beautiful. It is beautiful. I think the American dream, coming from humble beginnings, coming from nothing, and being able to achieve something great and sustain that level of greatness over a long period of time, and being able to transition your greatness, your wealth, whatever you've earned for yourself, on to others, whether it be your children, family, and the next generation. That, to me, is essentially the epitome of the American dream. I also want to go back to when James Trussell Adams provided the definition. Let's put it in context. At the time in 1931, just came out of the 20s, there was economic turmoil. You just had the crash in 1929. The stock market crashed in 1929. You had, earlier in the 20s, the KKK marching on Washington. Yeah, I think it was Washington, D.C. You had Marcus Garvey and his movement coming to prominence. You had, a lot was going on. And you had people, lower class, working 18, 20 hours a day, killing themselves. People dying from being at work, not protected. And then juxtapose that with, you had Ford, the company Ford. It had, by that time in 1930, it had exceeded over $1 billion in profit. In the 20s, going into the 30s, Ford had exceeded over $1 billion in profit. Like, if you adjust that for inflation today, it's probably like trillions. But in that time, even though there was a certain group of people, and people within America at that time, who was relegated, not really accepted as citizens, not really accepted into the concept of being American. That definition still should be applicable to everyone. And at least back then, they had hope. Because, I mean, if you were at the bottom, you're at the bottom. You only could go up. Now, fast forward to today. There's so many distractions into the 21st century. The financial burden on the common individual, it's allowed people to think that they're okay, or that they can achieve the American dream, when in actuality, the common man is in trillions of dollars in debt, or the American society is in trillions of dollars in debt. Student loans, other unforeseen financial setbacks, divorces, people on child support, a medical emergency. And they're so preoccupied with what's going on in terms of trying to sustain lifestyle or trying to sustain a life that they're not even thinking about. In today's society, people are not even thinking about upward mobility. They're thinking about just sustaining. And since everybody is just kind of like doing from what it perceivably looks like, hey, we're doing decent, they don't even worry about upward mobility. Back then, it was like they were rock bottom. They had no choice but to go up. And I think that today, it's a dangerous game to just kind of disregard having those types of aspirations for yourself and kind of just living or looking at it linearly, or just looking at it as a straight line as opposed to looking at it vertically. I think that's very dangerous. It doesn't promote progression. It doesn't promote the individual wanting to strive for a better life. It promotes the individual wanting to survive for the life that they already have. So I think that the American dream, that concept, that term, this so-called the American dream, it's a beautiful concept. But if you're not careful, you're gonna wake up one day and realize you're living the American nightmare. I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be you. So really internalize it. Interpret what the American dream means to you. And go after it. Why not? It's really all my time for right now. It's been a pleasure talking with you. As always, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.